Yes.
And we are live. Welcome, mystery and thriller fans. I'm your on air host, Sara DiVello, and I'm so excited to welcome back to the show
Hmm.
Faye Snowden here for this very special pre launch event, here to give us the inside scoop on her next book, A Killing Rain. Faye, welcome back to Mystery and Thriller. Tell us about this book.
Oh gosh, thank you for having me back. I so enjoyed the first time I came, so this is awesome.
Me
So this book,
too.
yeah, it's about a former homicide detective named Raven Burns, and she has decided that she has had enough with crime fighting, because this is like a sequel to A Killing Fire, the first book. And at the end of that book, she says, "You know what? I don't want to do this anymore." That's what she kind of said. But she is pulled back into crime fighting in the small town called Birds Landing, Louisiana, when her nephew was kidnapped. And she has to become a cop again to actually save him. But there's one thing that complicates Raven is that her father used to be a notorious serial killer. So she spends a lot of the book trying to atone for his past mistakes and trying to figure out who she really is. A deeply flawed character, but
Mhm.
strong and brilliant and intelligent as well. Yeah.
Well, I love her, and I know everyone else will too if they don't already. And I can't wait to get into your process and learning so much about getting the inside scoop on this book. But first, I just want to welcome everyone who is watching. We're on 6 different destinations across Facebook and YouTube. So no matter where you're watching from, you're in the right place. This is the right time. It's Mystery Monday, and we're so glad you're here because Mondays can be murder. So if you have any questions for Faye about this killing series, about A Killing Fire, the first book about A Killing Rain, this next book out tomorrow. Yay!
Yeah.
Her writing process, her publication process, whatever questions you got noodling around, get them going in the comments, and we'll get them right over to Faye. So, Faye, I want to kick off with some of the amazing praise that let's start with some of the praise that your first book has got. So, Anne Parker, the award winning author of the Silver Rush historical mystery series, raves about your work. And I'm going to pop that up right here in the comments. And let me just reach for it right here. She says, if you like dark and atmospheric and strong-willed but damaged protagonist, then someone should wrap up this book for you, sneak into your bedroom in the dead of night, and leave it for you to read. The prologue alone sent chills up my spine. Now, Faye, you're known for writing those spine tingling, scary books. What do you think the secret is to writing scary stuff?
I think it's finding what's scary inside of you, right? What scares you would scare your reader. I think. I mean, and I have a lot of phobias, so I think it's like find what scares you and then just dial it up a couple of notches and scare your readers as well. So
So I also have a lot of phobias, a lot of fears. So I'm the one who has to, go around and check the doors at night to
yeah.
make sure check the doors and windows, make sure I'm all locked in,
Hmm.
and make sure the stove is off, make sure everything's all buttoned up tight. So in this next book, A Killing Rain, out tomorrow. So you're diving deeper into her family, both with the kidnapping of her nephew, but then also with her dad, this scary murderer. um,
Yes.
so was the but I think what's interesting is that even for those of us whose fathers are not serial killers, we all understand reckoning with family members that aren't who we want them to be and trying to come to peace with that. What made you want to dive into the family dynamics on this book?
Yeah, and a lot of people ask me that, and it's so funny because I always give up my poor dad. I love my dad. I love him, love him, love him. And he's my biggest fan right now. He's always telling me how proud he is of me. But we were estranged for over 25 years. And then he and my mom divorced when I was around 8 or 9 years old, and I went to live with my mom. And of course, my mom was not a fan of his and said so. And I highly favor my dad, which means I look a lot like him. So, and my mom would just tell him, she would just go around the house that no good SOB and stuff and all this stuff. And I would just think, when I was younger, I would be like, well, how much of that no good SOB is in me since I look just like the man? And it was funny. But my mom has since passed on. She raised 6 of us by herself, and I was thinking about origin stories today, and she was a very tough taskmaster in the house. Six of us in a shotgun shack in Louisiana. So I don't want to disparage her because she did the best she can. But thinking about my dad, I would think that when I was younger, and then I was sitting at the computer one day, and I was just kind of thinking about him. Because, like I said, we've since reconciled, and I was saying, Lord, I mean, that's tough when you have a dad that, you don't necessarily know how to feel about him, right? And I said, well, wow, what if somebody's dad was a serial killer? How would that feel? And then I just, like writers do, because we're kind of like, I think writers are a special breed. And so I just dived right into that story and just started exploring all of it. And it was so much fun to do, and also scary to do, because I had to go into some pretty dark places in order to do that.
Yeah. Let's talk about going into those places. How did you gather the emotional courage to do that? And then how did you make it okay? Like, how do you go back to those places, those painful, tender places? And then how do you come out and reorient yourself to, okay, this is me now, and I'm okay enough to do this?
Yeah. And I know I really subscribe to, I just, like a lot of writers, believe that writing is therapy, and just, I mean, like, you're only sick as your sickest secret, right? And just getting all that stuff down on paper and then writing it and exploring it. I think it would have been worse if I didn't talk to my dad. I think it would have been worse, because then I wouldn't have been able to write that story, right? Because that redemption part hadn't come yet. But one thing I did when I was first starting to write, I was very inhibited, and I had a lot of doubt. And so I would do things like Natalie Goldberg, who made the free write famous. I did a lot of free writing. And then you had, I can't think of her name, I want to say Cameron, but she did The Artist's Way to kind of help you touch those tender spots.
Julia Cameron, you're right. Yeah.
Is it Cameron? Her last name is Cameron, right?
Julia Cameron. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so I would go on that program to kind of that. And then as I became older, I think some of those natural defenses just kind of built themselves up. You look at what I was, 20, 30 years ago, which I was a very angry young woman. And then I look at who I am now. I think I couldn't have written this book earlier than I did. So, yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Knowing that you have this story within you, but there's a season to tell it, and letting yourself get to that.
Yeah, I feel like I've been prepared, like, right? Because sometimes I would think, and here you guys go, you think, I'm so heavy. It's like, Faye is really heavy. She's really zenning out on us. But I do think about things very deeply. And sometimes I think, I look at the other writers who, some, not all, but those writers who have had an amazing childhood and amazing supportive parents, and never had to worry about, where their next meal was coming from, if they're going to eat that day, and, never had to deal with the racism and poverty that I had to deal with. But I think all of that kind of prepared me for writing the story. And I don't think I could have written the story if none of that ever happened, right? So I think I was uniquely prepared by the universe to kind of put this story down on paper. Yeah.
I love that. I remember I went to hear Colin McCann speak a couple years ago, and he said he's this very charming Irish author, with his lovely Irish brogue. And he said I've been cursed with the worst possible thing for any writer, and that is a happy childhood and wonderful parents, because they didn't give me any material, and I thought, I got a lot of material.
Yeah, but I just see those artists too. I see them like they really they produce the stories that they were prepared to produce, right? And we need writers from all different backgrounds, and I totally believe we need all those voices.
Yes.
Even if you didn't have a happy childhood, you could still write, right?
You still need those voices. I love it.
Yeah.
Melissa Watson, welcome to the conversation. She says, good day, Sara and Faye. She's
Hi, Melissa.
Live from Australia.
Ooh, nice.
Melissa, welcome to the conversation. Leacha Haney joining us from Texas. Hey, Leacha, good to see you again. She says, hi, Sara, DiVello, and Faye, and welcome, Faye. Yes. We're streaming live to 2 private Facebook groups. So if you're in there, you can stay mysterious, or you can enable privacy settings. Let us know who you are. It's Mystery and Thriller Maven. So stay mysterious if you like someone saying, yay for Faye. Yay for Faye. Exactly. That's the motive of the day. Happy pre-launch, Faye. Leacha's saying, thank you so much, Leacha. So, Faye, your book is out tomorrow, and how you feeling on it's too late to do anything about it. She's going out there.
I was saying earlier, I know this is not very original, but I'm as nervous as a cat on a hot tin roof. I'm going in my house, I was telling Tracy Clark, I was talking to her earlier today, and I remember I was saying that I go into my my house. I live in a multi-generational household, and I said it's like a marching band up in there, lots of people. So I go in there, and the nearest one, take my phone, just take it for a couple of hours. If I beg for it, don't give it back, because I'm constantly searching Twitter and seeing what the reviews are like, and it's not very healthy.
Yes. Well, everyone's gonna love your baby as much as I do. Let's get into some of the questions. So, Leacha would like to know what inspired you to write A Killing Rain. Let's talk about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. I started off with that question: how far does the apple really fall from the tree? And I probably stole that from somebody, because I think that was in a review. So props to you. Thank you for writing it. I didn't say that myself. And exploring the dark side of human nature is also what I've always been fascinated with ever since I was a little girl. I just see, and maybe because I saw some of it with my parents as well, it's just that what we're willing to do to each other as humans, my publisher is British, so, and I think I stole this term from them as well. Gobsmacked me, right? I just wanted to explore a little bit of that and try to figure out my way around it. So that was the inspiration. Yeah.
And Faye, why do you think? So you said even as a little girl, you were interested in exploring the darker side. Why do you think that was? Because I was a little, there's such a range of different little kids. Why, what was the earliest memory you have of was little Faye journaling in her book, or what was? Walk us back to little Faye wanting to explore.
Oh my gosh, you do not want to meet little Faye.
I do.
Little Faye. I mean, I was so angry. And then to tell you a little bit about my dad, the first thing I ever remember, you guys have your first memories. The first memory I have of him, and he was knocked on my head and said, knock, knock. And I said, and he goes, who's there? Who's in that head? I don't think anybody's there. And so that was like, I'm like, when I get older, I'm not older now, but when I get older, you're gonna get it. But
yeah, I'm gonna knock on you.
You're not gonna see what's in your head. Yeah, but it was just that I was, I think I was in that just the survival mode, kind of angry. Didn't trust people a lot, but I think that if I didn't have television and books and or mainly television and made for TV movies or whatever, I wouldn't have known any other world. And I just kind of lost myself. I mean, I read Anna Karenina when I was like 13 years old, and, it remains one of my favorite books today. What does it start? Each family is unhappy in its unique way. Unhappy in its, I can't even think of it. Somebody out there probably's got it.
Like every happy family is unhappy in its way, and every unhappy family is happy in its way, or something like that. Yeah,
unhappy in its own unique way. Yeah, so I just love that. It just caught me, and just exploring those different worlds and going into them. Yeah, that was what I needed then, right?
Leacha, thank you for the wonderful question, and Faye, thank you for letting us into that world, showing us how it began. Melissa, she'd like to know, how did you choose the names of your main characters? Melissa, great question.
Yeah, because like a lot of them are like Southern names. Raven, though, okay, this is what I did. Raven, Birds Landing, kind of get it, right? Yeah. Floyd, it was actually driving around in California, and where I live, there's a corner called Floyd and Rumble. And I was like, that is just such a unique. So that's where I got his name. And the other ones, I usually think about the names of people I grew up with. I think there's a Willie Lee in there. And then I can't think, but usually people I grew up with and just kind of things I see around. There are a lot of good name generators that are out there as well. And then I also use, birth certificates. I mean, not birth certificates. If any guys are writers, you can go search the Social Security database for names in your time period, and it'll give you, the most popular names and things like that during your time period too. I think it's a social security. I forget what it is, but you can find them like that as well.
Do you use the name generator? That social security thing?
The name generators are different. Lots of folks have them, but I do use I think it's a social security database. If I don't have it right, it's some database, a government database that you can go on and get the most popular names for that period. I've used those before, but one time I went and got onto legacy.com. What is it? Is the genealogy thing?
Oh yeah.
Child, I guess say child. I went on that and I searched somebody's on that website is doing research for our family. And I searched it all the way. They got it all the way back to I think 1830s or something like that.
Oh,
and
wow.
I used the name of my ancestors in some of them too. And in one short story, I used the name of my ancestors in that short story. Sometimes I'll use the full name. Because it's just fun to do.
Oh, I love that. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Readers got to read. Hey, girl. Always a pleasure to see you pop up. Thank you so much for joining us. And she would like to know, Faye, who were your first readers for your novels? Great question.
Yeah, when I was writing romantic suspense, I didn't really have readers. I didn't have beta readers. Because I thought I was all that in a bag of chips. But now, now I'm older and I know better. So I have a writing partner that reads my novels, and then she'll tell me when I'm going off the rails, and tell me when I'm doing good work too, which is just as important. I don't go into a lot of writers group because I have to really trust a person for them to look at my work, and I really trust my writing partner. And then I also and then my editor, I trust my editor and depend a lot on what he says and everything. I hope that answered the question.
Let us know if that did. And Faye, how did you meet your writing partner?
Oh, it's a funny story. That's a funny story. Because I've always loved English literature. I went to get my degree at an older age, my bachelor's degree, and she happened to be one of my professors. And then afterwards, and I worked at the same place I got my bachelor's at. I worked at a university. And then after, she would hit me up, and I would say, well, hello, professor, how are you? And just being all formal still. And finally she goes, Faye, if we're going to be friends, you can't call me professor. And they're like, oh, you want to be friends? Oh, I get it. And so that's how. And she is just a hoot. I just love her. Yeah.
That's so cool. So your professor became your friend and writing partner.
Yes. Yeah,
I
very
love
good
it.
friend.
I love
Yeah.
that. Alicia wants to know, are you the oldest of your siblings? So you mentioned your mom raised 6 of you. Where are you in the birth order?
I am let me see. I got to count. Okay, so there was, I'm third. No, I'm fourth in the birth order. I'm fourth. Yeah, I'm a middle child, so I try to make everything all right.
All right. Okay. Alicia, are you getting oldest child vibes there? Is Faye throwing out the oldest child vibes? I'm the oldest of 4. So let us know if you're getting the older child vibes. Anissa Joy, welcome to the conversation, saying hello, Sara and Faye. Always a pleasure to see your name pop up, ma'am. Alicia would like to know, which of your book characters was the hardest to write about and why? Great question, Alicia.
Yeah, I think it had to be Raven because she was so close to how I used to feel, and that I think that it was harder for me to open up, because I mean, you kind of, people may think I'm an extrovert and very gregarious, and but there's a shield, and I keep something like things private, and I think that was really harder for me to open up. Floyd came to me fully born in his white suit and his fedora, sat beside me and say, "Now you got to wrap me a book." He was all out there, and I didn't have to do a lot of work on him at all.
Oh, interesting that he came to you fully formed in his white suit. Why do you think that is, Faye?
I I know how to. For some reason, I kind of like my villains. I don't know why.
That's chilling.
It is, but even though, and sometimes I like my villains. I don't know why. Maybe that's that darkness that exists in everyone, right? You just got to kind of tamp it down.
You're getting the LOL faces on Facebook, Faye. We're laughing with you. I love it.
Okay, so how many of you guys on Facebook watched a bank heist movie or some movie where you actually rooted for the people that were actually robbing the bank? Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
Nobody.
okay. Faye's casting the challenge. She's casting the gauntlet.
I mean, when you're not supposed to be rooting for them.
That's a good point, actually. I find
Go ahead.
my husband and I were watching Killing Eve, that
Mhm.
and with Sandra Oh and Jodie Comer, and he turned to me at one point and said, "Why do we like this woman who is a literal sociopath, who is a hired assassin, who murders people in the most disgusting, violent ways?" And he said, "Why do we like her?" And I said, "I think it's because the actress is playing how the actress is playing her." But I did wonder, why are we rooting for the villain whose name is literally Villanelle? Why are we rooting for her? And Nisa is saying, "I love to find names in obits and graveyards." Yeah, because you know what? Old names are beautiful. They're, you see a lot of really beautiful old names. I love old names too. Okay. Oh, here's a good question. Anissa would like to know, what did your characters teach you in this book? And she's also wondering who the hardest character was to write by. We're all so interested in your characters, Faye.
Yeah, it has. Raven was by far the hardest. I mean, I had to pull back at one point for her and say, okay, she sounds like a paperboard cutout. This is not going to work. And so I had to go into a whole development character study. And I'm going to mess this up. But I use this thing called the Enneagram to write her. It's like the personality wheel.
No, what's that? What's that?
It's like a way to understand our personalities by evaluating them based on questions, a survey on like 8 different points. It's out there, and I use that. And there's a character, not a character generator, but there's somebody took it and changed it into something that you can actually do your character development in. And so I did that. I did a character study. I did Anne Lamott, bird by bird. I mean, what is your character plant in their garden, and what do they tend to, what do they neglect? And I had to do that all that for her. I think what Raven's taught me, especially with her flaws, is that she's in one way trying to prove. But first of all, she's trying to atone for the sins of her father, which I don't think you can ever do. That's not her job. And then the second thing I think she's taught me is that you have to come to terms with the darkness that is in you. And I call it in society too. I think there's one way there's so much evil in society is that they haven't come to terms that the darkness that they see in society is not outside of us, it's in us. And we have to learn how to deal with that in a healthier way than we do. And that's what I think that she's taught me. Right.
Ooh, I love that. So I just want to really soak that in, because I love that. We have to come to terms with the darkness that we see in society is within all of us, not out there somewhere.
Right. It's of us, right? I mean, and if you keep battling it and trying to lock it away, and some folks deserve to be locked away, don't get me wrong on that. But if you keep saying that, okay, how is this person so evil? Yeah, you brought them up in your homes, you raised them in your schools, they watched your television, they watched your movies, they played your games, they absorb everything in your culture. yeah, you tell me, how did they become that way, right? That's what I kind of look at. So,
Mm.
and I
Mm.
don't think if we don't, and I was telling Tracy this earlier, it's like one of the things I really believe in, and another professor told me that if you want to understand what type of society you have, look at the way they treat their babies, right? How do you treat your babies? And
Mm.
then, because that's the, if you treat them like terribly, they're going to grow up to be terrible people. So that's how
Mm.
I kind of look at it as well.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Good question. Nisa, look at sparking this fabulous conversation. Thank you so much for kicking that off, Faye. Thank you for the fabulous answer.
Yeah.
Readers got a read saying, what about Robin Hood heist?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. You're rooting for Rock taking.
Yes, we're totally rooting for Robin because he's stealing from the rich to provide for the poor. Yes,
So
I love that.
transgression. Maybe it's because we like to see the transgression
Mm.
of the unfairness in society. How maybe that's it. I don't know. I still
Mm.
don't know
Oh,
why you're rooting for Villanelle. Is that her name?
I'm gonna have to sit with that. Have you seen it yet, Faye?
No, I'm going to be watching it because it sounds like an awesome show.
Okay, then let me know if you too were rooting for her. Sandra
Okay.
Oh developed that, stars in it. I love everything Sandra Oh does. She's so amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Alicia sharing that she's number 4 of 6.
Ooh, yes.
Also the same. So picking that birth order there. Fascinating. Thank you for sharing that, Leisha. And she would like to know, do your characters talk to you? And if they do, have you ever had to change something in the story because of it? Yeah.
My
Uh-oh.
characters, yeah, I know. I'm kind of thinking my villains talk to me, and I've had to change things in the story because of it.
But the good guys don't talk to you?
Not Raven really doesn't. She's just off like there's a new movie out called Nope about those things that do this in the air, and I used to explain when I think when people are going off the rails, I'm like, you're just like that car dealership thing that's going on like this, the advertisement. But she's just like, oh, I don't know. But she's like, Ed May talked to me, and I changed something in the book because of Ed May. I really loved her character. I don't know if you guys remember her. She's the very dramatic, kind of has the fake French accent kind of woman. And there's the Raven's high school friend and competitor. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you for that great question. Anna Lee, welcome to the
Oh,
conversation.
good. I'm glad you said. She
Oh,
spelled
she
it
said
correctly.
anagram.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
I was spelling it. I put it in a few comments ago and typed it in. I spelled it anagrams. So thank you for correcting me, Annalie. I appreciate that. And thank you also for letting me know about your name a few sessions ago, a few streams ago. She's saying how interesting that you use that as character development. Faye, have you always done that? Is that a new thing?
Every time I write a book, I start casting about for new techniques to make me write faster, better, more, and I just found it.
Oh,
Yeah.
fascinating. I like that you're
Yeah.
doing that to continue to grow as a writer.
Oh, you have to.
Leach is saying that is so true. Children learn what they live.
Mm-hmm.
And she wanted to say thank you for answering her question.
Oh, you're
Y'all, we have 1 minute left. I think I can squeeze in one more question, maybe 2, depending how fast you are. So if anyone has one last question for Faye, get it going in the comments. Otherwise, Melinda submitting a question in advance because she has to work tonight. She's going to catch the replay tomorrow. She would like to know, Faye, what's your best advice for an aspiring author?
Read. Fall in love with reading. Read everything, and then especially read what you like to write, and then sit down and write the best story you know how. Just write it. Don't be afraid. Just do it, and just go from there. And then study your craft and join a writing community.
Oh, I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. And thank you for sharing how you met your writing partner and professor.
Could you imagine if I had decided to get my bachelor's?
Yes.
I didn't need it. I was working. I had a good job. I was like, but I just did it because I love the subject matter. Yeah.
Yes, I love that. And thank you for sharing that advice there. Leach is saying this time has gone so fast. I've enjoyed this live chat so much. And the last question will go to her saying, what is your favorite genre to read, Faye?
Mystery genre, dark, noir, southern, gothic fiction. Gotta
Okay.
read the Southern Gothic. And Leisha, was it like 3 little ones and 3 big ones in your house? Because I was the oldest of the 3 little ones, so I guess I've got that oldest sibling and that, yeah. But yeah,
Ooh.
yeah.
Let us know. Let us know in the comments, Leisha.
Okay.
And I see some Anissa saying thank you so much for ladies. Anissa, thank you as always for joining us. I want to remind y'all the book is out tomorrow. So grab your copy of Killing Rain. And I'm doing a special thing today. Readers Gotta Read saying, I heard your episode on Crime Writers of Color podcast back in 2020.
Oh, nice.
Yay, thank you
Thank
for letting
you.
us know that. Alicia's saying she has 3 older brothers and 2 younger sisters. So it sounds like, yes, she's the oldest of the 3 youngers.
Oh, okay. All right, great. Yeah.
And everybody pre-order. I'm popping the link in right now. Pre-order your copy today. And I'm doing this thing today where if you pre-order a copy for Murder by the Book, our favorite woman-owned independent bookstore, here's the link, and DM me your receipt, I will send Faye an inscribed book plate and she will personalize it to you.
Oh, my first book
with
plate. I
a
love it.
secret message. So I will send that to her. So DM me your receipt. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Find me and DM me your receipt, and I will get you a signed copy of this book plate. Y'all, we are out of time. Time flies when you're having a good time. Faye Snowden, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you
Happy
all.
Pub Day tomorrow, and we can't wait to have you back when your next book is out.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
Yay! All right, everybody, have a great night. I'll see you next week for Mystery Monday, because Mondays can be murder. Thanks so much, Leisha.